Hi everyone, it's Tammy with Crafty Southerner, and today we are going to make this cute shell headband with this rose. This size that I'm making will fit a newborn. It is made with shell stitches on both sides of a chain. It's super simple to make, and it goes great with the diaper cover that we made in the last video. If you missed that video, check the link down below, and I will also put a link at the end of this video. Okay, to get started, we are going to need, for the headband itself, we're going to be using white yarn, and I'm going to use this really cute pink yarn to do the rose in. You're also going to need a size G hook. If you want to make your headband a little bigger, you can go up a size on the hook. I'm also going to use a pair of scissors and a darning needle, and this time we're also going to need a tape measure, and I'll explain why soon. Okay, to get started, grab your yarn and we are going to do this in a multiple of 5 plus 1. So that means you need to do multiples of 5 for your chains and then add a stitch at the very end. Now, like I said, I am doing my headband for a newborn, and a newborn's head is between 13 and 15 inches long. So that's how long I'm going to make my chain. So let's start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. Wait, how many was that? It doesn't matter. We just need to, I know it's a multiple of 5. We just need to make sure that it is the right length. Okay, right here we have it at, let's see, I don't want to stretch it too much. It's about 13. I think I'm going to go 5 more chains and then do the plus 1, and that's where I'm going to stop. So let's do 5 more. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to add my plus 1. Okay, so to begin this headband, we are going to go into the second chain from the hook, and we are going to work a single crochet. So we're going to skip this because this is never a chain. This is your first chain down here. So we're going to go 1, 2, and we are going to do a single crochet right here. Okay, next we're going to skip 2 chains, and we're going to work 5 double crochet in the next. So that's 1, 2, and in this chain we're going to do 5 double crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, oops, 4, and 5. Okay, next we're going to skip 2 chains again. So that's 1 and that's 2, and we're going to work a single crochet into this stitch. Again, we're going to skip 2 chains, 1, 2, and we're going to work 5 double crochet in this stitch. And this is going to be your repeat pattern. We'll do this a few more times. That's 2, oh, there it is. 3, oh, come on. 4, and 5. Okay, we're going to skip 2. let's see, 1, 2, and then we're going to go do a single crochet right here. Okay, then we're going to skip 2 and do another shell stitch, which is our 5 double crochet. So just continue doing this all the way down the chain, and when you get to the end, I will meet you there and show you how to finish this. Okay, here we are at the end of this chain, and if your number count is off or something, that's fine. Just make sure that you've got a single crochet right there. Okay, so next we're going to chain 1, and we're going to turn our work upside down. And right here where we did this single crochet, let's see if we can see it right there. We're going to go back into that stitch and do another single crochet. And now you're going to follow the exact same pattern everywhere where you have a shell stitch. Right here, you're going to work a shell stitch on top of it. So we're going to go into here to that same hole. We're going to do 5 double crochet, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then right here where you have your single crochet, you're going to do a single crochet on top, and then scooch over right here where you have your hole. You're going to do your next shell stitch, putting 5 double crochet in that hole. How many is that? 3, 4, and 5. Then you're going to go find your single crochet right here, and you are going to put a single crochet on top of it. Next, you're going to find your hole and do 5 double crochet on top of it, or inside of it. 3, 4, 5. So you're just going to continue to do this all the way down the row. You find your single crochet, go on top of it, put a single crochet, and then go on top of your next shell and put 5 double crochets there. So just continue to work on this all the way down the row, and I will meet you at the end to show you how to fasten off. Okay, so we're working on our last shell of the row. 4 and 5, and we are going to put a single crochet right here in that very first single crochet that we made. Okay, so at this point you want to leave yourself a good long tail and cut your yarn and just pull that through. And we are going to thread our darning needle, or yarn needle, or tapestry needle, whichever you call it. And we are going to connect this end to this end down here. So there's no special perfect way to do this, just however you want to do it, just as long as these two ends are connected. I just kind of go up through one and then the other. Just sewing them together. No special way to do it, no right or wrong way to do it. Just as long as they're attached. And don't worry if that forms a bump or something right there, because this is where we're going to put our flower. So this side will be smooth. So let's just go through it a couple more times, just to make sure it's good and attached. Okay, we're going to call that good. And you can bring this tail from this other side. You can kind of, let me get my hook, it'd be easier to do that. Just bring it over to the front. And then let's do this. Let's put this back in here. Get those two pieces a little closer together. I'm just gonna kind of work it around till I get closer to that tail, because I'm just gonna tie these two tails together. You don't really have to worry about hiding the tails, because your rose that we're about to put right here is gonna hide it for you. So just knot it a few times. And we'll just do it 3 times for good measure. And then cut your yarn. And that's it for the headband. Isn't that so cute? And it was so easy to do. Okay, so now let's get started on the flower. Okay, so to start on the rose, you're going to need a few extra supplies. I am using an H hook for my rose. The H hook will give you a rose, let me put it in my palm so you can kind of see, about that size. If you want a bigger rose, you can go up a hook size, you can go up a yarn size, you can use chunky yarn, and that will make a huge rose. But for this one, because we want our rose to stay kind of on the small side because we're doing a newborn headband, we're just going to make a smaller one with an H hook. Okay, so you're also going to need some stitch markers, and you're going to need, of course, your darning needle and a pair of scissors. The stitch markers are going to come into play while we're chaining, so I'll show you when we're going to use those. So this rose is worked in a multiple of 10 plus 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oops, 9, 10. Okay, I'm going to work a chain of 61. So it's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. When you get to chain 20, you want to put a stitch marker there, because we're going to need to know what is 1/3 of the way down. Okay, so then we're going to go 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. And when you get to chain number 40, you're going to put in this stitch marker. And that is going to make life so much easier as we're working this rose, and you'll see why in a minute. Okay, so that's 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, and 60. And then you're going to add 1. Okay, for row 1, we are going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So remember that never counts. 1, 2. Right there, we're going to place a single crochet. Okay, next we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to skip a chain. So we're going to skip this one, and in this one we're going to work another single crochet and chain 2, 1, 2. So we're going to skip 1, single crochet, and chain 2 all the way down. Skip 1, skip 1, single crochet, and chain 2. You're going to do this all the way down the chain, so go on ahead and work this pattern, and I will meet you at the end of the chain. Okay, when you get to your stitch markers, for right now, I want you to just ignore that they're there. Just stitch right over them, and we will come back later, and those stitch markers will help you a lot in making this rose. So, but for now, we're just skipping 1 and single crocheting and chaining 2, and just continue to do that all the way down the row. Ignore the stitch markers for now, and I will meet you at the end of the row. So here we are at the end of the chain, and we are going to work our last single crochet and chain 2. Then we're going to turn our work, and all of the other stitches that we do are going to be in these chain 2 spaces. So in the first chain 2 space, we're going to do 3 double crochet, all in that same space. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Now after your 3 double crochet, you're going to chain 1, then you're going to slip stitch back into this same space. Okay, in the next space, we're going to do a slip stitch and a chain 1. In the next space, we're going to do our 3 double crochet. That's 1, 2, 3. We're going to do a chain 1 and slip stitch back into that space. Slip stitch. Next space, we're going to do a slip stitch and a chain 1. Next space, 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Chain 1, and then we're going to slip stitch back into that space. Next stitch, slip stitch, chain 1. Next stitch, 3 double crochet. Oops, 2 and 3. Then we're going to do our chain 1, slip stitch in there, slip stitch in the next one, chain 1. Okay, we're going to do our 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Our chain 1, slip stitch back in, and then we're going to go into the next stitch, slip stitch, and chain 1. Now you'll see we've come to the point where we have our stitch marker. That means we are 1/3 of the way down our original chain. When you get to your stitch marker, you are going to start making your petals, which is what these are. These are going to be the petals of your roses. We're going to start making these a little smaller. So instead of doing 3 double crochet, we're going to do 3 half double crochet. So in our next, instead of 3 double crochet, we're doing 3 half double crochet. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Now everything else is going to be exactly the same. Chain 1 and slip stitch back into that hole. We're going to find the next one, slip stitch in there, and chain 1. Next one, 3 half double crochet. Okay, there's 3, chain 1, slip stitch, find your next chain 2 space, slip stitch into there, and chain 1. Okay, next space, 3 half double crochet. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, slip stitch, find the next one right here, slip stitch, chain 1, 3 half double crochet. Chain 1, slip stitch, slip stitch, and chain 1, 3 half double crochet, chain 1, slip stitch, oops, slip stitch, and then the next one, slip stitch, and chain 1. Okay, here's our next stitch marker. So from this point forward, instead of doing half double crochets, we're going to do single crochets for our petals. So in the next one, we're going to do 1, 2, and 3 single crochets, chain 1, and slip stitch. That will always stay the same. The next one, we're going to slip stitch and chain 1. Next one, 3 single crochets, chain 1, slip stitch, going to the next one, slip stitch, and chain 1. Next, 3 single crochets. And we're going to do this all the way to the end of the row. And then I'm going to show you how to put your rows together. Okay, slip stitch, chain 1, next one, 3 single crochets, chain 1, slip stitch, slip stitch, chain 1, and we're going to end with a petal. 3 single crochets, oops, and chain 1 and slip stitch. Okay, and that is the way it should look at this point. So now we're going to cut our yarn, leaving a good bit of a tail, and pull our hook through. And you can take out your stitch markers because we don't need those anymore. Okay, so now we're going to start with our single crochet petals, and we're just going to roll them. Let's put that down at the bottom. We're just going to kind of roll them up. And the goal here is not to get that cone, but to get a flat bottom to it. So you want to pay attention to the underside of your rose. And I just kind of keep my thumb down on the bottom on my finger, and it helps so that I know I've still got that flat bottom. We're just going to roll it up. It is literally that easy. Just making sure you have your flat bottom. Now, a lot of times it takes me a couple of tries to get this just like I want it. You know, you want to kind of push your petals out some. Maybe loosen it up a little bit. You don't want to roll it too tight. That doesn't look bad there to me. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use one of these stitch markers, and I'm just going to kind of, just to help hold it in place where I have it. Well, now I'm going to lay it down. I'll take that long tail, and this is where we're going to kind of sew around it to make sure that we keep it all nice and secure, and it's not going to come apart. So we'll just double check the front, maybe pull this up a little bit, pull these out some. You just have to play with it till you get it kind of like however you want it. Like I said, I'll unroll it and re-roll it several times. This time I think I'm just going to leave it like that. All right, so now we begin sewing it in place. And I'm just going to go all the way through to the other side. Now after you pull through, you don't want to tighten it too much because you don't want it to pull your flower shut. I'll come over here and go through it. Just kind of weaving back and forth. The main goal here is just to kind of keep your flower in place. I'll come over here, kind of push through all of it, come out on that end, and over here. You don't want to forget to, I'm just going to kind of go, I think, up through here, and I'm just going to catch this last petal right here so I can attach it, because I don't want it to, let's see, I don't need my stitch marker anymore. See how it's kind of loose right there? We're just going to attach it to that side so it doesn't pull up. And you can still kind of work with it to get it however you want it. And then I'm going to come through here. And I'm just going to tie these two ends together right here. So again, this is going to be on the inside of your headband. No one's going to see it, so we just tie it together and snip it off. Okay. Now, we are going to grab our headband and we're going to find that spot where we connected it together. Yeah, see, it's right there. It's got the little pieces of yarn sticking up. And we are going to attach our flower right there to it. So we're just going to kind of go in. Let's make sure we got the middle of the flower in the middle of the headband. That would be a good idea. And just kind of come up. Whoops. My yarn came off. Let's try this again. Don't think I left a long enough tail. And then go back in through there. And go down maybe a couple more times. Okay, and that's it. You have created this beautiful headband. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like. And please, if you don't mind, would you hit the subscribe button and turn notifications on so you don't miss any more crochet videos that I have. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.